Hey friends, it's Liz, the official craft nerd, and today I've got some more shabby chic romantic decor for you. So for this first project, I am using one of these really large home sweet home signs that I was lucky enough to find at one of my Dollar Trees in their dollar plus spots. And the sign was $5, and I thought you could not beat it for how large it was. So all I'm doing is taking some of my Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen, and I started off with just rolling this out thinking that would be quicker. And yeah, I don't know, I think the foam roller just left this weird texture, so I ended up going back over it with a paintbrush, but I'm not going to bore y'all with that. So what I did was I found this image on Google Images and just printed out a few different copies of this and trimming off all of the white edges. I'm going to be using this for my background on my sign. So once they're all cut, I'm going to go ahead and Mod Podge these down to the back of my sign, just kind of piecing them out like a puzzle so it completely covers that background image. After I have all the pieces down on the background and a dry coat of Mod Podge over top, I decided I want to add just a little bit of embellishments to the frame itself. And so I'm taking some of these molds that I purchased off Amazon and hot glue. I love using hot glue in molds. It definitely is a quick and easy way to add embellishments because the hot glue dries so quickly. And I know a lot of people like to use clay, and of course these are made for, resin, or you can actually use these for, making candy and chocolate and things like that. But I actually love using these for very quick, easy embellishments, just using your regular old hot glue. So I decided I wanted to put these smaller ones in the kind of corners right there of the inside of this picture, and the other ones on the outside of the picture. So there really was no, reasoning for it other than I just liked how it looked. So, definitely didn't even really need to have the embellishments, but, you guys, when it's shabby chic, I don't think you could ever have too much of anything when you're adding on to these things. So you do you, and you do what looks aesthetically pleasing for you. Once it's all said and done, I go ahead and take some of my paint again that I've been using and just kind of going over those embellishments and filling in those details. Super easy, super quick to do. So for the second part of this project, I'm taking some of the 3.5 by 5 photo frames that are from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to measure out some of this scrapbook paper for the size of the frame itself. Once I have all the pieces measured out, I'm going to trim them so that I can glue them down onto the backs of these photo frames. I'm then going to take these stickers that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I just loved these blue butterflies and knew they would go so great with this picture. So I put those in all 3 of those frames. And of course I needed to paint the outside of the frames themselves using that same white paint. And once they were all covered, I did go over it with just a piece of sandpaper just to distress it up a little bit. Once that was done, I went ahead and placed my glass back in the frame as well as the back of those picture frames. And as you can tell, I did rip off the little arm or the leg that you would use to actually stand these up because we didn't need those. And I just loved how these turned out. I thought they were so pretty, and I knew I wanted these on the back of this frame. So what I'm doing here is just kind of spacing them out, seeing how exactly I wanted to place them. And I also had these wooden distressed hearts that I found at Walmart. and I wanted to place them on there as well. So I took some of this super glue adhesive and hot glue to secure these down on the sign itself. Now you guys, I'm going to tell you, with these added on to this sign and the sign being as big as it is, this is a rather heavy sign. I mean, not too heavy. It's not like super heavy, but if you can see up there in the top right hand corner, there is that little triangle. You can tell it's the little hanger that comes on the sign itself. I'm not sure why they put those little ones on there, because I don't think that would have held this sign without anything added to it. So if you do want to hang something like this, I would definitely recommend putting in your own hardware to hang it, because this is not going to just hang, I don't think, on those little cheapo hangers that they placed in there. So just saying, just for future reference, mainly because I couldn't hang this up. I didn't want to just hang it on some hot glue and rope or anything like that. So when I show you the final product, you'll see I just kind of lean it up against the wall. But anyway, of course, this would not be something I've done unless I have de-stressed it with some of that antique wax. So I'm just going to go ahead and dirty it up along the frame, and then I'm going to do the frames on the inside as well as the heart and the background itself. And you guys, if adding all of the distressing is not something for you, you don't have to do it. And if it is too much, you can always add more white paint. Or like I did, I took some sandpaper and just kind of roughed it up and cleaned off all the edges that way. But like I said, y'all, you do you and what you like to look at. This was how my final piece was. And you guys, I really love this. I think I want to actually hang this up in my master bath. It's just so pretty. Now today's video is a collab with the Crafty Quinn. Y'all, this girl is such a sweetheart, and her videos just keep getting better and better. And I mean, her style, y'all, like, I love the things that she comes up with, and you guys need to check her out. She is the sweetest girl, like I said. And I don't steer y'all wrong. I send you to some good people. So please make sure to check out her video. Okay, so for my second project, I am going to take one of these pieces of these flowers here, which I just found on Google Images and printed them out. I'm just going to do a quick fussy cut on these. It didn't have to be perfect because what we're going to do is put it in the middle of that tray. So this wooden tray I did get from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to give it a good coat of the Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen, just to kind of keep with all the colors that we're using today. So once I get that completely coated on the inside and out, I'm going to take some Mod Podge, and I am going to glue down that photo of these flowers right dead in the center. Once all my image is down, I do go ahead and give it a coat all across the bottom of the Mod Podge as well. So then I'm going to go over to these coasters that I actually found at Goodwill. I think it was like $1 for all of them, and I am going to coat these with that Rust-Oleum as well. Now I will say this took about 5 or 6 coats to cover up that image. And of course I didn't record all of that, and then by the time that they were completely done, my lighting had changed, so yeah, that's why it looks different now. But once I did get those coated, I do go ahead and take my butterfly stickers again, and we are going to place those dead center of these now completely white coasters. Once I have all those down, I'm taking some of my dishwasher safe waterproof Mod Podge, and I'm just going to coat all of my coasters with that, because, you know, again, you're going to use these as a coaster, so you're going to have sweaty glasses and things like that on them. So I just felt like that would be the best bet to keep this image or sticker or project or picture or whatever you want to call it. Keep it safe. So going back to the tray itself, I wanted to, of course, distress this up a little bit. So I just do the edges and the outside corners and a little bit on the inside as well. I'm then going to take some twine, and I wanted to jazz up those handles a little bit. So I am simply going to glue down a piece of the twine and wrap it around that outer edge of the handle. Here is how my little tray and coasters came out. I think they're so stinking cute, and I don't know, I love them. Okay guys, so for our final project, I am going to be using these little ceramic dishes. So of course this pink one is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just removing off that little decal, super easy to scrape off. The white one is actually something I found at a thrift store. And going back to my molds again and adding some decals with hot glue. Now you do see that big giant pink one up there. I had initially thought I was going to use that real long decal there and ended up changing my mind. So I'm sticking with the smaller decal, and I love how these turn out. So after I clean up all of the edges, I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto my little pot, I guess, my little sugar bowl. I'm not sure what this is, but I decided to use hot glue at first. Now, and I'm showing you this because it does show, I'm going to show you my fail, basically. Normally the hot glue holds up holding hot glue. But I think because it was on the porcelain, for whatever reason, it just was not going to stick. So after I had already started painting this up, and again, same paint, still using Rust-Oleum linen, I noticed that it was starting to come up, and then, yeah, it ended up just coming off. So I took it off, wiped it down, cleaned the glass, and now I'm just going to use regular old super glue. And you guys, that was the trick. That's all I needed to use, and it held the decal perfectly. So I'm going to do the same technique on the pink jar as well. I'm just going to super glue my little cherub down on there, and then I'm going to give it a light coat of the Rust-Oleum. Now I didn't want to super coat it and make it super, you know, completely white, mainly because I loved the pink, and I still kind of wanted that to kind of show through those brush marks. So I'm going to take a piece of paper towel with just a little bit of that antique wax on there, just to brush over the details to get all those details to show through. And then I'm going to coat both of these jars with some Mod Podge just to help seal in the chalk paint. So you know, this would not be shabby chic unless I start adding some more to it. So I'm using these gorgeous little fabric flowers and paper flowers that I did get from Hobby Lobby. I believe these were in the his and hers section, which is the wedding section, and I just love them. I'm just taking some fabric as well, like some ribbon there, and just kind of folding it over, gluing it down, just to kind of make, like, I don't even know what you would call it, but just some extra detail to add to the back of one of these flowers, because there's no rhyme or reason to shabby chic, honestly, you guys. It is just like a compilation of beautiful things and pretty things, and that's all there is to it. I mean, you really can't screw this up. So that was that jar, and then with the longer jar, whatever this little creamer jar, milk jar, I don't know what it is. I just went ahead with some ribbon, wrapped it around the bottom, and then I took some of the lace ribbon and wrapped it over that ribbon. And of course, I'm going to add some flowers, both the paper and the fabric flowers to this as well, and more ribbon. I mean, really, that's all there is to this stuff. You know, you could definitely add more things to it if you want to add pearls and, you know, if you want sparkly things or whatever. But for my aesthetic, this was all it needed, and I absolutely loved how all of the lace and the flowers and everything just looked together. And this was how these two pieces came out. I am obsessed. I think these are gorgeous. I absolutely love them. Great addition to my home decor. And here are all of them together. Again, I really couldn't do a great final shot of them because that sign is so big. But you guys will have to tell me what your favorite was down below. And of course, if you guys don't already, check me out on Instagram at @officialcraftnerd, or even on Pinterest at @theofficialcraftnerd. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and sticking around. And until next time, y'all, stay safe.